Thank you for watching another live edition of the East West Football Podcast. I am Fidel Barraza. Alongside with me, like always, Jerry Martinez, Kendall Whitley, Walter Stringer. What's going on, guys?
Week 14.
Man, it's already the end of the season. Kendall, what are you saying week 14 for, man? It's like one of those moments, right? You don't want it to end, man, because man, but who knows, man? We have XFL, and I think with Walt, with Walt, football never ends, right, Walt? Draft season, XFL. What do you think?
Not much of the XFL, but yeah, yeah. Draft season, of course, football season never truly ends, man. But this is pretty much the most fun time of the year, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and with that being said, so Week 14 just wrapped up last night as the Patriots dominated the second half against the Arizona Cardinals. Unfortunately, Kyler Murray tore his ACL in the first quarter of the game. So obviously, things have not gone well for Arizona this season. But what stood out to you guys the most this week?
Oof. I go ahead and start out, man. I think the Miami Dolphins, past couple of weeks, they've been struggling. Two good deep. Well, I don't want to call the Chargers a good defense because they got a lot of injuries. But we seen a week four last about with the Niners had they shrunk that offense up and they how they did them, and Tua really struggled through a couple of periods, got sacked. He was hurt a little bit. Then we look at the Chargers. Chargers were missing like 5 or 6 starters, I think I seen, and Tua just couldn't. The offense could not get in rhythm. The one big play they did have was the Tyreek Hill deep down the sideline on the right side, and I mean, then Tyreek he took a fumble for like 50, 60 yards. He took that and scored. But other than that, they didn't. The Dolphins offense haven't done much the last 2 weeks. I think you're starting to see teams.
And we'll get back to Kendall.
Let me go ahead and take over. I'll say 49ers are on a 6-game winning streak. That defense is looking sharp. We'll say this for anybody that's on the NFC, that's a team that definitely you got to watch out for. That defense looks strong. That includes the Philadelphia Eagles and of course my beloved Dallas Cowboys. What about the Bengals also on a 5-game winning streak? And then I believe they kind of broke the strat broke a a very unusual stat line, right? And that was with Joe Burrow being winless against the Cleveland Browns. But what's up with the Titans, man? They've dropped 3 and recently to the Jaguars. Just saying. But that's kind of like what's been sticking out to me.
Yeah, I
Kendo?
would say. Yeah,
Um,
go ahead.
no, no,
Did you
no. I
finish,
was,
Kendall?
I was gonna say, did you finish?
Yeah, I was just gonna say like the teams that's starting to pack the middle of the field. We're back on the Dolphins now. They starting to pack the middle of the field against the Dolphins, making Tua throw the ball outside. We know he's accurate in the intermediate and whatnot, but he doesn't have the arm strength to really throw it deep. Even on some of Tyreek's touchdowns this year, or some of the deep passes that Tua has thrown, a lot of them have been underthrown, and that was a knock on him coming in from the draft and into this year. So that's all I was gonna say there about the Dolphins. They struggled the past couple of weeks, and they got a big game, big divisional game against the Bills on Saturday. They beat the Bills earlier this year. Bills are missing a whole lot of starters, and that's the game Tua got hurt, but they still managed to pull off the W whatnot. So big game for the Dolphins, and I want to see against a good Bills defense if the Dolphins can get back on track.
Well, since you guys took all the good games and all
I didn't.
the
I didn't take no good games.
and all the good teams,
Hey, I know what game you want to talk about.
no, I was gonna
Let's
talk
talk
about
about it, man. The
no,
All right.
Detroit Lions beating the
nah,
Minnesota Vikings, baby.
nah. I'm not gonna homer up the show. Not
Come
gonna
on,
do it.
Homer, baby.
Good.
No, I
I'm
was
not saying you're
actually.
homering, but
You want to
Oh no,
be?
I could
you
talk
got
about
a
it.
you got a Lions
Yeah,
heart
but
behind
people
you.
hear
You're
me
wearing a
talk
Lions
about.
hat. I'm
Yeah, but
saying,
people
go
hear
ahead.
me talk about the Lions all the time, man. But what I did want to talk about was something that actually revolves around the Detroit Lions. That's the Carolina Panthers. Now, that's a team that I had winning the NFC South before the season started. Everyone laughed at me. I laughed at myself after a few weeks. But everything is starting to kind of like level out in that division, and it's not a gimme for Tampa, man. I
It's not.
understand we keep giving Tampa this division because, well, they've got this celebrity in Tom Brady, this all-time great, this figurehead, this guy that we just can't imagine not winning. But what happens? Because if you go back to that final season in New England, people didn't think things would end that way either. And what did it end like? It ended with him throwing a pick six against Tennessee.
In the
So
playoffs.
yeah, so I'm just warning people: don't be shocked if Tampa doesn't do it. Like, don't be shocked if they blow this division because Carolina's right there on them, and Carolina has to play us in a couple weeks too. That game could turn out to be a winner take all as far as who gets that final spot in the NFC.
Yeah, and we're talking about a Tampa team that's having a hard time protecting Tom Brady, and it's not going to get any easier on Sunday when they play the Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, they can't run the ball either,
That too.
and they don't try to run the football. So it's Tampa just man, it's
I mean, but what do you think's going on with them? Because I read something earlier that said that the night before the game, essentially Tom Brady changed the whole offensive game plan, and without the coaches, some coaches even knowing. So I mean,
It
like,
seems
what's
like
going on with Tampa?
it seems like they're the only time they're good is like the final 5 minutes of the game. And if the Saint if Mark Ingram doesn't go out of bounds or if he gets that first down or whatever, we have they're on the 2 game they lose that game. Like look at the Rams game about probably like a good month ago. They won that game on the final drive. Like you take away those final drives from Brady, Tampa is not they're not looking good. And the only thing that's saving them right now is the division. You put them in any other division, and they're done. We're not even talking about them. You put them in any other division. So I mean, yeah, I did. I seen that report too about Tom. He changes the game plan the night before, whatnot. But it's not good right now in Tampa. I don't want to say they're injured or whatnot because a lot of that guys have came back. I think it's the chemistry. They got that. They haven't had time, but I mean, we're winding down. We only got like 3 or 4 more games here. You ain't got together yet. You're probably not gonna get together. And then
And
and the way
yeah,
go ahead.
go ahead.
Yeah, the way it looks right now, they're probably gonna be if they let's just say they win it, they're probably gonna be playing the Dallas Cowboys the first round if Cowboys stay at the at that third spot. They probably no at the fifth spot. If the Cowboys stay, they're probably gonna be playing Dallas. So that Cowboys probably either playing Carolina or Tampa Bay. If I'm the Panthers though, you know you don't have the future at quarterback on your roster right now. Do you want to continue winning these games and just keep furthering down your draft position or whatnot? But I know, I mean, we're in a win now, Lee. You want to win, but I mean that's kind of crazy what's going on there in Carolina. But I don't know how you sell that to your fans. But back to Tampa Bay, there. I don't think this team because we can like Walt. You hit the nail on the head. You said everybody think they're just gonna automatically turn this switch on when the playoffs start. I'm starting to believe now. I don't think it's going to happen like that. I think they have real issues. I don't think you can just wait till the playoffs start in January, just turn it on, and Brady's going to be Brady, and everything just going to start clicking.
Go, Jerry.
No, even the defense, man. Like, what happened to the defense?
look at the
Like,
names on that football team, man. Like
I'm just saying
they're
that
sort of like the NFC Chargers or something, man. Like it's all of the
good
talent,
analogy. Good
all of
analogy.
that talent, all of those injuries. It's like when you look at that defense, man, what's happened to that defense since the Super Bowl run? Like guys got paid, Devin White, like a lot of guys got paid, and they've consistently just regressed every year. There's no excuse for that team to look the way it looks. I don't know if it's because Bruce is gone. Is it Todd Bowles?
Yeah.
Is it Brady doesn't have it anymore? Is it Mike Evans is almost not the guy he used to be? Really don't know. But Mike
Yeah.
Evans is
Look,
another guy that isn't his deal coming up next season?
What they
like
did, they lost a few guys. They lost Barrett, lost Sue, lost Pierre Paul. So they lost a lot of players there, but that ain't got nothing to do with how that offense is look. It ain't
Right.
got nothing to do with that offense. That's Brady. Julio. He's been a shell of himself, but we don't think we expected much from Julio. Godwin. I mean, he's coming back from the ACL tear. Evans. So like every week he can just walk and he's nicked up with something on his hamstring. Leonard Fournette isn't running that well. The offensive line, coming into the season, they did miss like they were missing the stars offensive line anyway. They missed a couple starters. So I mean, it's a mess right now in Tampa. Like I said, the only thing saving their butts right now is that division. That's it.
I think the other thing too, and you kind of did bring this up, Walt. Bruce Arians, I think he's missed on the sidelines. I really do, and I think he made Byron Leftwich look, better as an offensive coordinator than what he's looking right now. And I understand that Tom's older and he got some players that are hurt, but I mean, when you kind of think about what they don't have anymore from last season, I mean, Bruce Arians was a big part of that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Just to comment on what Kendall said about Carolina for a second. I think once your team is officially in the playoff mix, all the draft talk goes out the window. Like that's what happened here. Like we were all talking about the draft here in Detroit about a month ago. Then as soon as the Lions went on that run, and now they're right within striking distance of making the playoffs, That's what everybody's about now is the playoffs. I think fans want to win more than anything else.
Well, I mean, and just to follow up on that, I mean, people forget like people's jobs are on the line. You got to win.
Yeah.
They're not paid to lose. So I mean, that's
Man,
exactly what
it's
Steve
fun.
Wilkes is doing in Carolina.
You're right,
It's
man.
been fun
It's a
here the past couple weeks.
it's a business, man. You're absolutely right. NFL is not nothing. It's a business, and then these owners are getting very weary, man. And I'm pretty sure, like, I mean, Tepper is a great example, right? I mean, he didn't even give Matt Rule a third year.
So I mean, what do you think he's thinking? Because I mean, obviously, he probably doesn't want to hire Steve Wilkes, or at least when he was named the head coach. I mean, he made a comment. I don't know exactly what the quote was, but it wasn't very what's the word I'm looking for? Encouraging words for Steve Wilkes to be the coach next season. But if they make the playoffs, they win the division, and who knows? Maybe they upset somebody in the wild card round. Like, what do you do? And Sam Darnold's look good.
And we've been hearing the Chargers, Sean Payton being linked to the Chargers already, man. And this is crazy, man.
Well, Jerry, I think he's just chomping at the bit. I mean, at this point, he's going to go where he's going to want to go to what team, and they're going to have to just give out whatever the Saints want at this point.
Well, no, they can't. They really can't pull anything from the Saints because he's technically retired. I think the going
They own
rate.
his rights.
Huh?
They own his rights still.
No, but I think that I think there's a certain level where you can only get a first rounder if he's active. So he played it smart. He wanted to get out of the Saints situation. The Saints, he knew that they were going to be in a crazy situation when it came to number one. They had obstacles when it came to salary cap and all that stuff. But Chargers are a relatively young team, promising young team. They've done a phenomenal job. What's his name? What's the GM's name? Pete Tom Pelesco. I'm sorry. He's done a phenomenal job as far as putting the right talent. I mean, man, he was patient, and Herbert just fell right to him. And look, man, the future looks bright. It's just, they just gotta get some kind of energy. Something they need to get some kind of right energy in that situation. But I mean, altogether, all these teams are kind of like in the same boat. The ones that are, at the bottom and not making their playoff pushes, they're all in the same boat. And I'm pretty sure all the coaches, I mean, even I'll tell you, I even go as far as to say this. I honestly, I'm starting to look. I feel like maybe perhaps if the Cowboys are one and done in the playoffs, I don't think Mike McCarthy's job is safe, man. I'm just being honest, dude.
Yeah, I don't either.
I'm just saying.
And Jerry, you know
Jerry
better
Jones,
than me.
Jerry Jones is 80 years old. How long do you think he wants to be being general manager and not having the results? Right now, a lot of these teams have competitive rosters. The Buccaneers had a relatively good roster, man. Defensively, pretty good roster. Todd Bowles, from what I've heard, he's an excellent players coach. All the players love him, but for whatever reason, he just doesn't have the right court. I don't want to talk down on any coordinator, but something happened with the offense. I don't know if it's a relationship thing between Byron Leftwich or what, but man, it's unfortunate that a lot of these teams are having these issues, man.
I mean, even if Tampa does win the division, I think I'm going to have a hard time saying that Todd Bowles is going to be back as a head coach next season.
Well, I mean, because they'll be one and done, right? And then you don't even know if you're going to get Tom Brady back next.
Actually, well, that's my other point that I don't think he's going to want to come back to Tampa next season.
Yeah, I think things are just stale there. I think that's the main thing with them offensively. Like, there's not much creativity anymore. I think Byron Leftwich play calling, as much as I love Byron Leftwich, is pretty predictable. But I don't know if it's predictable because it's him or is it because of what they have out of the players, because we know what Mike Evans is. Like, Mike Evans is pretty much a one-trick pony right now.
Well, I mean, it was just a bad matchup this weekend because, I mean, you got a 45-year-old quarterback back there trying to, hold the ball at least for 5 seconds.
Matchups this year, though.
No, I know, but I'm saying
everybody's
the
been a bad
matchup.
I would like to add something to that what Walt just said. Did you guys catch that situation with Jacksonville, which is crazy? Jacksonville being the Titans, but everybody was asking Trevor Lawrence, or a lot of attention was on Trevor Lawrence because he did something in the game that the coach didn't call. It was a design run, and Trevor Lawrence saw the defensive end crashing in, he decided to suck the ball out and he ran it in. It wasn't even he wasn't supposed to do that. Trevor Lawrence was supposed to give it was supposed to be a handoff,
That
and
was
he took the
Clemson.
ball. Huh?
That was Clemson.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm just saying,
That was
like,
Clemson all over again for him.
no, but I'm saying, like, it's crazy that Trevor Lawrence said, you know what, F it, man. I'm gonna do what's right for us to win this game, and I'm gonna abandon the play, and I'm gonna score. And man, you know what? That defensive end almost caught him, but luckily, Trevor Lawrence is 6'6", and what I'm saying, looks like a Statue of Liberty out there reaching for the touchdown. But it's crazy that you got players that are I mean, especially the younger players that are willing to, take the heat, man, especially from their coordinators or their coaches. And when you hear this, what you said, that what was it, Fidel, that you said Tom Brady changed up the game plan the night before?
Yeah, essentially he changed the game, and the
That's-
coaches weren't even aware.
That's what I'm saying. Is there something going on with Byron Leftwich, the relationship there? Why doesn't he like it? I mean, why can't they just talk together and just put together a game plan that they both like? It's weird.
The one key element that's missing again from last season, it's Bruce Arians. And who knows? I mean, look, a lot of people were speculating about the relationship that Tom had with Bruce. I mean, we don't know, right? I mean, we're not in there, so we don't know what the relationship was like. But I mean, what's the relationship like with Byron now? I mean, I was watching clips of the game, and Tom's just looking frustrated on the sideline. He looked like he was pissed off at Byron.
Yeah, you can hear him talking too.
And he didn't slam the tablet, but he gently put it down on the side.
Yeah. I mean, it's a real circus right now with the Bucks, man.
Yeah, man, it's just crazy. But I mean, obviously, there's a lot of playoff implication games this weekend coming up, and one of them being Thursday Night Football between the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks. Essentially, if Seattle loses this game, I think they're done. I think they're out of the playoff race at that point.
Yeah, it's a huge game for the Seahawks. Huge for the 49ers too. They did beat them earlier this year, so 49ers will sweep the season series with the Seahawks or whatnot. I do want to see the match at DK Metcalf going up against that 49ers secondary and that defense. Physicality on one hand with Seattle, and we already know what the 49ers represent. They're as physical as it can get. So I can't wait for this matchup.
Yeah, I really don't see a way Seattle beats the Niners on Thursday. I really don't. They got a really good defense. That defense is just playing outstanding. They got the good running game with Christian McCaffrey. Brock Purdy, I mean, I thought he was going to struggle on Sunday, so credit to him. He looked good out there against that Todd Bowles defense. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough game for Seattle.
It's my quarterback.
That's my quarterback, Harvey. Go Seahawks. Of course, you know what I'm saying, because we don't want the 49ers to win, but 49ers are too tough for the Seahawks, man. I'm sorry. You're talking about a very aggressive defense, and they've had Seattle's number for quite some time now.
It do seem like the past 2 weeks, Seattle's kind of came back to earth. Though. But the past few weeks, past 3 weeks, because starting with the Tampa game, and the Raiders came in there and beat them, and then this past game, I actually thought the Panthers would go in and beat them. I didn't think it would be as dismantling as it was. The final score doesn't indicate it, but Geno Smith didn't look good for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, Kenneth Walker III being out with an ankle injury.
Yeah, that hurt him.
Game plan. I mean, he's a huge part of the offense now as well. And then DJ Dallas being out too. So, I mean, they're down to the third string running back?
Yeah, I think they were pretty much playing a little above their heads earlier on in the season.
Well,
and you expect that from a young football team, though. That's a ton of talent they drafted this season. And they've gotten a lot of that talent, a lot out of that talent as far as offensively on that offensive line especially. And, of course, on the defensive side of the ball. So, it happens.
Yeah, the Panthers were just running the ball, and they thought they're like second and third string running back.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. But you know what? Carolina's been running the football a lot better than when Christian McCaffrey was there.
I will also add real quick, because you said they're down to third backup running back.
Yeah,
I think it's like the fifth, because Rashard Penny was the one.
Oh yeah, you're right. I forget about him. He's been out for a while.
It's great.
That's
it's a crazy.
either, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, but no, Rashard Penny actually finished last season off pretty strong. He actually looked like
I heard too, though, didn't he?
Not that bad, but I think right now the Walker, I think they just set him up just to kind of like save him. I think he may come back this. I don't know.
Kenneth had a lot of carries, man.
if Seattle has any chance to win this football game, they're going to have Kenneth Walker playing.
yeah.
He's got a high ankle sprain, so I mean, we don't know how he's going to be.
Kenneth
I
had a
mean,
lot
look
of
at
carries,
Debo.
though.
I thought Debo ripped his whole freaking. I thought at one point I thought it was an ankle, and then it looked like he, I was like, oh, his ACL is torn. And look, he's coming back in 3 weeks, which is insane. So I don't know, man.
Yeah. So obviously a big matchup in the NFC West. I mean, but the Niners have pretty much got their division wrapped up with their third string quarterback. Yeah, I heard it. Third string quarterback, Brock Purdy. He's like pretty good out there.
I think the Niners they've shown it. They show a prime example of how you build a team. Great physical defense, great weapons on the outside, good running back or whatnot, good offensive line. That way, when you have something happen at the quarterback position, you could just have somebody come in, just don't turn the ball over, whatnot, and they still be able to win games. Everybody thought when Jimmy G got lost for the year, or when Trey Lance hurt, that the 49ers was going to just go downhill, and they just keep pounding, they just keep grinding. So I think they show how you build a team. I really like what 49ers are building there. And they're young and they're just so deep at like every position. I don't think they're gonna miss a beat without Deebo Samuel.
Well,
Without Brendan Ayuk.
When you say how young, can you explain like in what position are they young? Because
I mean, I think
offensive line is kind of old, man.
Yeah, linebacker, they're pretty young at linebacker. They're pretty young back there in the secondary. Then the skill position, McCaffrey, he's not 30 yet. They still got Deebo, Ayuk. I mean, I think the offensive line is getting up there in age, but we can't tell the way they playing and moving the ball. We can't really tell. They're playing some good ball and they're healthy.
True. I will say this. I think this is the final year that they F them picks, right? Because I mean, they traded 3 for Trey Lance. I believe this is the last year, right? Well, this is the last year that they lose their first round pick,
So.
and then they gave up a second, a third, a fourth, and I think next year's fifth. So they still got a third round pick from the composite. The comp picks for the coaching staff, I believe. Then they got a third round. So I mean, if anything, I'm really impressed with Kyle Shanahan. I think that he has his whole coaching staff, like making weekly adjustments, almost even quarterly adjustments to the game plan. So I am impressed with Kyle Shanahan. And has he become the actual quarterback whisperer? Because you're talking about Beathard when he took over, he looked good. Nick Mullins, he looked good.
Yeah.
And now
he ain't won nothing with any of them though.
Brock Purdy. I love it.
Nick Mullins. Look, I'm just saying this,
Thank
man.
you.
I'm just saying this. Shanahan is a hell of a coach, hell of a coordinator. We saw what he did with Matt Ryan in Atlanta with all of those weapons they had. He left Atlanta. Atlanta's never been the same. He went to San Francisco, took Frisco to a Super Bowl. They've been perennial contenders over the past 5 years or so. Great defense, running game, excellent offensive mind. Haven't solved the quarterback position.
Mullins had that one big game on Monday Night Football a few years ago with the Nines, and we have not heard much since then. I don't know where he at right now.
Mullins is playing.
No. He have a bad game against Minnesota like the following week or something.
I believe so, but I do remember that big game he had on Monday Night Football.
Yeah,
and I think
it was Thursday night
against
football.
The Rams,
it was against the
Raiders. Thursday night football.
I remember.
The next morning we woke up and whatnot. Everybody was just crowning him this new guy. I mean, then he ain't done much since then. So yeah.
Well, so let me ask you a question, because you're bringing up some facts, man. You're bringing up the stuff, man. In fact, I feel like I need to wipe my camera down, right? Okay, I'm not. But are you telling me that
fiber? I like that cloth, man.
That's what you gotta have, man. We're content creators, baby. We've been doing this YouTube gang thing for a long time, man. This is not our first rodeo. But anyways, are you telling me that the San Francisco 49ers are gonna go as far as their quarterback takes them?
I'm gonna say this, and I say this consistently every season come playoff time, all throughout the regular season. It's gonna come a point in time where your quarterback's gonna have to win a game for you. You can't hide them. Wild card weekend, divisional round, and NFC championship. Doesn't work that way. It's going to come a game where someone's going to get on that defense. What if someone jumps on that defense? Because things happen. So what if someone jumps up on Frisco 21-0?
You're just saying, let's just say the Eagles.
Yeah, the Eagles, or even Dallas for that matter, or anybody. Anybody can catch San Francisco slipping. or anybody can catch anybody slipping and jump up on them 10-0, 15-0, 21-0 like that. So
Yeah.
right now it's working because that defense is great.
Well, I mean, look, how good does Mike White look when he's trailing in games?
Mike White.
Like Purdy. I mean, look, he's only that was his first career start.
Yeah.
I don't see him making it to the Super Bowl. I'm sorry, I just don't. Defense is good, running game is great, but I just don't see him taking them that far.
What didn't look Purdy for Brock Purdy was his first game when he had 37 passing attempts, and there was only 17 going to Christian McCaffrey. So it was like, oh, we've never seen the 49ers kind of like, put the brakes on the running game and allow especially a rookie to rip the ball 37 times in one game.
Well,
So
I will say this, Jerry, going back to Iowa State, he was good at what he was good at under Matt Campbell.
For what? Like about a year or a season?
Short passes. That's it. Like there was nothing downfield, but within that Iowa State offense, not the final season. That final season, that offense stunk. It was Breece Hall, and pretty much that's it. But yeah, and then Charlie Kolar, he also struggled that final year at Iowa State, but he was good at what he was good at. Short passes, short to intermediate passes. No real pushing the ball downfield. So is he another clone of what, Kyle Shanahan loves as far as his quarterbacks? Because none of his guys have really been big arm guys. Like even Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan was never really a big arm guy. Matt Ryan was really good in the short to intermediate game and timing.
Can we go back to even Matt Schaub?
I like Schaub. Until Schaub just started having a case of the pick sixes and things just went completely downhill for him. But Schaub was good in that. Did he have Schaub in Atlanta?
I don't think he did. It was Matt Ryan.
No, but wasn't he part of
Houston?
He was a backup.
Yeah, I think he was in Houston.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was in Houston with or at the. Oh my God,
I forgot the name too.
Offensive coordinator at Alabama.
Bill O'Brien?
I'm gonna look this up. Hold on.
Bill O'Brien. That's him. Bill O'Brien.
Was it Bill O'Brien?
Yeah, it was. Hey, he had some good years for the Texans. They were a pretty good team with Arian Foster running that rock too.
No, you said no. They had Gary. Remember they had Gary Kubiak, then Bill O'Brien, right?
Wait a minute. Wasn't Wade Phillips the head coach over there for a second?
He was the coordinator.
So, okay, look, he was with the Houston Texans in 2006 as a wide receiver coach. And then in 2007, he was the quarterback coach. And then in 2008 to 2009, he was the offensive coordinator for the Houston Texans. Let me check that. Let me see who was the coach then, though. I believe that was
Gary Kubiak was with Sean.
It was Gary.
I think it was Gary Kubiak.
Yeah, it was. I remember now.
Yeah, because Gary Kubiak is a part of Gary Kubiak collapsed on the remember that's what
Sunday Night Football.
Yeah. So he did have Matt Schaub, yeah.
Didn't they have Brian Cushing too?
Yeah. Hey, you know what?
Let's not speak about him though.
I saw a highlight earlier.
But it did show that, right? Oh, football.
Let's not speak about Brian Cushing too much.
Footballism, right? Where he was built different, and you just see him. He darted and he hit somebody with his helmet, and then he took his helmet off and headbutted it. Yeah, that guy was crazy. Man.
That dude was intense.
Hey man, USC had some linebackers: Cushion, Clay Matthews, Ray Malula was.
Ray Malula.
He's with the Bengals linebacker. They had some guys there, man.
Wasn't even Taylor Mays there at that time too?
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't know how the hell we got there, but
the Houston Texans and Taylor Mays.
Oh no, we're talking about quarterbacks that Kyle Shanahan has had.
So see what happens. We bring in one player and then we connect them to other players, other coaches, and that's
the beauty about football. That's why people love football so much, man. We can go for hours on this stuff.
So with that being said, who do you guys like to win on Thursday? Everyone on the Niners? Yeah. Is there even a chance that Seattle wins?
Let me check the odds real quick, just so we know. Let me see. Hold on real quick.
Well, I got the betting odds right here in front of me. So right now, the Niners are 3.5-point favorites.
Wow. So they're at least giving them that. What,
Yeah.
what's the over under?
42. Yeah, we'll see. I like the Niners to win on Thursday. I don't see them
Uh,
losing this game.
They
I,
handled them earlier in the season.
they did
So,
handle them earlier in the season. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with the 49ers.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
this week we actually got some Saturday action. So we got 3 games lined up on Saturday. We got the Baltimore Ravens going to Cleveland playing the Browns. I mean, look, we don't even know who's going to play quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson's hurt. Tyler Huntley got a concussion. So that's a big game because essentially now Cincinnati's in the driver's seat if they
Yeah.
go to Cleveland and lose. I see Cincinnati win this division now. I mean, they're playing really good football right now. Lamar Jackson's hurt. We don't know when he's going to be back. I don't know, man. It's tough.
The AFC,
yeah.
the AFC is starting to kind of like it's starting to shape itself out. Because at one point, remember at the beginning of the season, we are like AFC so stacked, and now it's kind of like at one point I was banging the drums for Tennessee Titans being one of the tougher teams, and they got beat up by one of the softiest teams in the entire AFC, man. So am I telling lies? Well,
No, I mean we've discussed Tennessee quite a few times, man.
And Derrick Henry's turned the ball over a couple times
Hey.
in those games too.
Harvey likes your Lions, man. He has a comment on there. It says if Lions win against the Jets, they will win out.
Yeah, they're going to beat the Jets. Mike White's
I hope the Lions do beat the Jets.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, okay. Likes
There's a
that.
lot of teams
They
in
will.
the
I hope-
league
hey,
where the
listen.
Lions beat the Jets.
Are the
Hey,
Lions
hey.
winning out? That's the question. After the Jets, do the Lions win out?
It's hard for me to say because that Carolina game next Saturday scares the hell out of me, man. Because
Alright.
Carolina's going to have something to play for, and that defense has been very damn good this season. So,
Hey, JC Horn finally making
and it's on the road now.
What about Jameson? What about Jameson Williams getting into the action over the weekend?
Yeah,
The
now
wide
that's the
open-
thing. I think we
yeah.
offensively we have the firepower to compete with everybody. But like I said, I think I'm more worried about that Carolina game than I am the Jet game, honestly.
Yeah. So let's go and pick that game on Saturday. The first one, what was it?
Ravens and Browns.
Baltimore
Yeah.
Ravens, Cleveland Browns. Right now, the Browns are 2.5-point favorites.
Ooh, man. And have they
I'm
still
gonna go
not
with-
scored a touchdown under Deshaun Watson?
I don't know.
I'm gonna go with Baltimore. I'm gonna go with the Browns. Watson doesn't look right. I mean, that's due. I mean, he's been out over a year, whatnot. I'm gonna go with Baltimore. I think they're just gonna find a way to get a win. That defense is playing good. Raekwon Smith had a pick this past week against Mitchell Trubisky. That's not surprising. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Baltimore in a close one. Divisional game I always call. I think Baltimore they swept them last year, but I think they won like 4 straight against the Browns. I'm gonna go with Baltimore in this one, a close one.
I'm going to go with Cleveland.
I'm gonna go with the Browns too, man.
Me
First
too.
home game for Deshaun Watson. They've been on the road the last couple of weeks. I like him at home. The quarterback situation is too much for me right now for the Baltimore Ravens, so I like the Cleveland Browns to win at home.
I like Browns too. Like you said, Deshaun Watson finally got. I believe he had his first passing TD also. I don't know how many. I didn't really check the stat line, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
bad.
I'm Cleveland too, man. Like who's starting the quarterback for the Ravens? Is it Trace McSorley or somebody?
No, he's actually in Arizona.
Oh, he is.
Yeah. So
Isn't-
this
isn't
is
there
an
another
undrafted
McSorley?
rookie. I
Oh.
forget. No, it's not a swirly. I forget his name.
Another McSorley.
I want to see his last name's Johnson. I could be wrong, but yeah,
Josh
I want
Johnson.
to.
You know Josh
No,
Johnson
he's with
always
the
has
Niners.
speed dial. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, I like the Browns. And then you got the midday game. Let's see who Indianapolis visiting the Minnesota Vikings. A big game
Tricky.
for the Minnesota Vikings because
Tricky game.
The
Tricky.
Vikings have to get back on track, man.
I mean, look, the Lions. I mean, they're not out of the division yet to win it. I mean, Minnesota would have to lose out, but
Yeah.
we've seen crazier things happen. But obviously, big game for the Minnesota Vikings. Right now, they're a 4-point favorite.
Yeah, that's about their line's about right. I'm gonna go with the Vikings. Can't wait to see the Stephon Gilmore and Justin Jefferson matchup. That's gonna be must see TV. But I'm gonna go with the Vikings. At least by 10. I'm gonna go 31-17 Vikings.
I'll take the Vikings. They need this. I trust me. I've seen the Colts, but man, I'm not trusting. I really don't like. I don't know, man. I'm not trusting the Colts right now.
Well, I'm not trusting either team. but I'll trust the Vikings a little bit less. So I'm gonna take the Colts to pull the upset.
Oh,
Hey,
that's a
I've seen.
Colts coming off a bye, right?
I'm a. Are they?
no.
Yeah, they are. They
Yeah,
are.
yeah, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
no, I'm gonna bring that. I know I said about 10. I'm gonna go 24-20 Vikings. But it's gonna Colts coming off back, and last time we seen they got embarrassed by the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. I'm gonna go with the Vikings, but it's gonna be a close one. Colts gonna stick in there.
Yeah.
They had an extra week to prepare for the Vikings too.
Hey, and the quarterback for the Ravens is Anthony Brown. He was formerly of Oregon and Boston
Oregon.
College.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just
Yeah, no. Well, I like the Browns pick, so I'll stick with my Browns pick.
yeah, I'll stick
Um,
with the Browns on that one.
yeah.
But I get you with the Colts. Regardless, the Colts have a pretty good defense that could stack up
Well,
with.
yeah. And I think the main thing is being able to see the Vikings play Detroit twice and seeing what Philadelphia did to them and seeing what Dallas did to them, I see the Vikings for what they really are. Like they have a problem with really physical football teams. And the Colts, they're not much at quarterback, of course, not right now, or at wide receiver, the skill positions, but they're still a good defense. They're still a physical football team, and they still will get some yards on the ground.
And
So
that Vikings defense is not good. So
not at
even
all.
it can make a Colts offense that ain't good look real good.
And now you're getting me to sway, man. I don't like this when you start dropping that knowledge.
Well, Jerry, just think about it. You
No,
guys,
that's why you made me think about it.
you guys kicked their teeth in. Philly kicked their teeth in. We were up by 14 points on Minnesota inside 10 minutes.
Before the
Both
halftime.
games.
And the
This season.
Patriots had their best offensive score output the whole year against the Vikings defense.
Yeah,
And we all know about that. We all know about that Patriots offense.
Yeah, and I mean we were a 5-minute collapse in week 3 away from being 2-0 against Minnesota.
Yeah, with all of that being said, I like the Minnesota Vikings at home. They got too much to play for, man.
I'm going back, man. Give me the Colts, man. Damn. Well, why'd you do that to me?
Cause man, I'm gonna just say this, and I mean this with the utmost respect. The Colts are one of those raggedy teams that can jump up and beat anybody on any given Sunday. We saw what they did to the Chiefs. One of those teams that kind of ragtag at quarterback, can't figure that position out, inconsistent on a week-to-week basis, but we're tough, we're physical, and we run the football. How you think Tennessee win the games they win?
Well, they're not winning the games now.
No, they're not.
The last couple of weeks.
And that's
No.
because last week, Derrick Henry rushed 17 times for 121 yards and had a touchdown, but he had a fumble.
He had a huge fumble.
And somebody knocked him out right in the sideline, man. I mean, I've never seen Derrick Henry. I mean, it looked like Mike Tyson punched him right in the jaw, man. It's crazy.
He's their identity.
He is their identity.
Yep, and then the nightcap. You got the Miami Dolphins traveling to Buffalo and playing the Bills. Forecast for this game, it's going to be very cold. 1 to 2 inches of snow. Could be more. I like Buffalo in this game.
I like Buffalo. I want to say big, but only reason I want to say big because Miami did beat them the first meeting. But on divisional games should be close. I'm going Bills by 10. I think look for Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen to get back on track. Diggs had an off week this past week, going up against Sauce Gardner and that physical Jets defense. They really put up a lot of numbers. Needed Gabe Davis, but I'm gonna go with the Bills because they need this game. They had lost their first 2 divisional games, so they beat the Patriots, beat the Jets, so they can go ahead and right the wrongs. And they're gonna go ahead and close out and beat the Dolphins. And Dolphins, like I said, Dolphins beat them early in the year, but Bills get them back this week. And one thing about Buffalo, man, when teams play them, they kind of get banged up. They're a physical team, man. They've been causing a lot of injuries this year. Jordan Poyer back there, Micah Hyde starting to gain his feet back. I look for a big game for Stephon Diggs too, because that Miami Dolphins defense. And they added Chubb or whatnot, but they have not been playing good.
Buffalo Bills have won 4 straight. Dolphins have dropped 2 straight.
Mm-hmm.
I like Singletary to have a big game in this game. Running back for Buffalo. And they're a 7.5 point favorite.
I like Buffalo, man. I like Buffalo in this matchup. Like you said, Kendall, I think it's at Buffalo's, right? It's at Buffalo.
Yeah, it's in Buffalo.
I mean, they're
cold. You know what's
yeah.
You know what's interesting is that obviously they played in Los Angeles this past weekend against Chargers on Sunday Night Football. The team had heaters on the sidelines.
What?
Keep the Dolphins players warm. Heaters. Yes, you're hearing that right. Heaters. Because there was a breeze. SoFi is an open stadium. So, yeah, it's domed up, but essentially there's wind can still get in there. So imagine how they're going to be
When
when
can
they go to
still
Buffalo.
get in there. Oh man.
I will say this: I like their head coach, man, Mike McDaniel. But in this case, I just don't. I mean, shoot. I mean, I know they have the firepower with Tyreek Hill and all that, but I think Buffalo already has everybody back, right? Kahir Elam, their first round pick,
Elam's
and
back.
they got Tre'Davious White back. So I like that. I like that matchup, and their defense is still relatively tough. So yeah, give me the Buffalo Bills in that one.
Yeah, I think the Bills are hitting their stride right now, and
They are.
they got a lot to play for. If they lose this game to Miami, that means that Week 17 matchup against Cincinnati on Monday night is going to be epic because that means they can't afford to lose that one. And I believe Cincinnati. I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna say this: if the Bills lose to this game against the Dolphins on Sunday, they lose that division.
Yeah, the Bills are not losing this football game. I do not see that happening.
If they do, and Tua goes out there with no sleeves, because you know he's not wearing sleeves. You think he's going to wear sleeves?
Sleeves or no sleeves, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to win the game. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, I don't think they're going to do it either. Like I said, I think Buffalo's the better team. We debated this a few weeks ago. I think I was the only person that thought Buffalo was the better team, despite the fact Miami had beat them early in the season. But
well, I mean, that's the other thing I was going to bring up. Do you think they forgot about that game?
nah,
Do you think they forgot about how they lost in Miami? And offensive coordinator, oh my God, I can't even think of his name right now. Losing his shit.
Oh,
Press box.
you're talking about
Miami.
Dorsey.
Ken Dorsey, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So trust me, they're going to have
Miami
some.
Hurricane great.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have some for Miami on Saturday. I have no doubt about it.
Buffalo it is. Bills Mafia.
Should be fun. We got football Thursday. We got football Saturday. We got football Sunday. We got football Monday. So with all that being said, gentlemen, any final thoughts?
Hey, Kyler Murray got hurt.
He did. I forgot about that a little bit.
At the beginning of the show.
I did mention it did tear his ACL.
Like Future says, it's an evil world out there.
Hey, more time to play Call of Duty.
Oh,
real quick though.
local.
So where does outside of him, we know how we pretty much understand how this is going to affect him. For Arizona, where do you go from here? Like
Cliff's
they've got
gone.
a lot of underachievers on that team on that defensive side of the ball for damn sure. They got a
what do you do with
quarterback.
DeAndre
who-
Hopkins?
Yeah,
keep
they got
him?
a quarterback
You
who
shopping?
he was yeah, Hopkins too.
He's 31.
Yeah.
Aren't you Hopkins? He's 31 years old.
30.
And how much have you really gotten out of him? He was suspended, the first 6 games this season?
Might be 31.
Yeah, so I mean, older
Well, I
wide
mean,
receiver.
Not to mention your quarterback was already kind of regressing before the injury, and he's a mobile quarterback. He's also a small mobile quarterback. He's not. You can't expect him to really be the same if and whenever he does come back. So, but you invested so much money in him.
Look,
Yes,
I'm gonna make a bold prediction. I think the Arizona Cardinals are gonna try to get Sean Payton to be their head coach. I don't know if that's gonna be possible, but I can see that. The only way that Kyler Murray can improve and be better moving forward is with the new head coach. It's not gonna work with Cliff anymore.
I'm not
You
gonna
don't
lie
think
to you.
some of it's
Fidel.
on him though?
I don't think any head coach wants to deal with Kyler Murray, man.
That's what I was just about to say. Like,
But you can't
how much
split
of it's
with the
him?
well, you can't split with the quarterback and the coach this offseason. Well, one, the quarterback just got hurt yesterday, tore his ACL, so he's gonna be more than likely out for the full year next season. I mean, who knows? But you gotta do something. You can't. I know you gave Cliff an extension this offseason. I just don't see him coming back. I really don't.
And an ACL injury to a quarterback that loves to run and escape out the pocket, that's not good. So I think at least probably gonna miss half the season. I don't know about the whole year, but it'd be interesting to see what the Cardinals do. They're gonna have our pick. Do they look at a quarterback? Do they look in the free agent market? I mean, they're gonna have to do something because they got some nice young pieces on their team. But then with that division with Seattle upcoming, San Francisco, Rams, I don't think the Rams will be that bad next year. I think they'll be a little better. But on the Cardinals, they could be on the outside looking in. So might be some big changes coming to Arizona this offseason.
Well, I mean, they got more issues in the quarterback too, though.
Harvey, why do you think Harvey says Sean Payton is not going? Why?
Well,
Why?
maybe because Kyler's hurt. He's not going to be there next season. I mean, I don't know.
Would you
I was thinking
want a
that
piece
before
of
he
that,
got hurt.
though? Would you
Huh?
really want a piece of that organization though?
No, I don't like the GM Steve Klein.
Ownership has a bad reputation.
Just the Chargers owner has a bad reputation too.
Yeah, Dean Spanos. I mean, he might not even own the team next season.
I don't even
He
know
wants to
why
go in.
Sean Payton would even flirt about going with the Chargers.
Well, they're cheap for one, so I don't know why he would want to go there. And yeah, I understand Justin Herbert, but
Arizona's cheap.
you're going to have to pay the quarterback. I just see
it's-
two organizations that I just seem different. And obviously, Justin Herbert is a better quarterback than Kyler Murray. But you're going to have to pay Justin Herbert now.
Nobody
I don't know.
wants
It's,
Arizona.
What's the going rate? 50 mil?
I mean, who knows? What's Lamar Jackson going to get?
Oh, he says nobody wants Arizona.
Trust me, there's only 32 of these jobs in the league. Someone's going to want to be in Arizona.
I was just about to say that, but it's funny when you just take a step back and look at the collapse of Arizona. Was it ever really built? Because then they start 8-1. Was it last season? The year prior to that? It was last season.
Well, the last couple of seasons they started out good, and then the second half of the season they just collapsed.
Yeah, I find this funny because they got rid of Josh Rosen mainly because he was quote unquote an arrogant know-it-all, a jerk, and this and that, and then you go and you you ship him out, and you go draft another guy, number 1 overall, who has teammates, ex-teammates, and people around the league saying the same things about him. I don't know. It's something about Kyler that comes off really Jeff George's to me, man.
Oh,
It's this whole
Jeff
situation.
George.
damn!
But
Well,
the thing
you
is,
just
you're
you're trying to give
Every-
Kendall like a run for his money for the almanac or what?
I'm just saying this, man. I don't want to do that.
I love it.
There's
I
some-
love
yeah,
it.
but the
You need it.
teams-
We need more of this. Well,
I'm just saying this. When you have talent, now he's not as big as Jeff George. I'm not sure if he has the same arm talent as Jeff George, but when you have talent at the quarterback position, they will give you every opportunity to fail. Kyler will be on his 3rd coach before they finally let him go.
Well, he's about to be on the second one next year. I can almost guarantee you that.
Harvey says Kyler Murray is trash.
I don't want to call him
One man's trash is another man's treasure.
One
Who
man's
knows?
trash. One man's
Would you
trash.
like
I wish we can get LaShawn McCoy here to talk about.
Would you like Kyler Murray with the Raiders?
Ooh-wee.
That's a good question. No.
He couldn't lead fish to water.
Well, you know what? LaShawn McCoy did make a valid point. I thought I was the only person that noticed how it's always
What do you say?
whenever he throws an incompletion or whatever, it's always
LaShawn McCoy said
it's
McCoy
always
said
someone
that
else.
Kyler
Yeah.
is trash. He plays backyard football. He just run around.
Oh man.
But Kendall, we kind of said that. Me and you said that, didn't we, Kendall? Like we said that like a while back. Like it was only a matter of time before, Cardinal the whole Red Sea, right? I believe that's what the Cardinals go by. The Red Sea was going to get frustrated with the style of play that Kyler Murray plays with. Man, I mean, you can only run around so much before, you know what I mean? You have to actually pass the ball. And this guy has not taken the time to learn a 3-step, 5-step, 7-step drop back. And I'm sorry, man. I'm not liking Kyler Murray at all.
Golf.
Boy, oh boy, how the tables have turned.
Yeah.
Right
Well,
now,
listen,
I
hold
go
on,
at
hold
golf
on.
right now. as we speak.
I've never been a big Kyler Murray guy, man. Never. He's got a nice arm or whatever it may be, but no, if we're talking about a guy who's going to lead the offense, lead the locker room, lead the team, and then golf, of course, has played way better.
Hey, look, this injury, I mean, it could do Kyler good. Self-reflection. Hey, what kind of quarterback do I want to be moving forward? What kind of leader do I want to be moving forward? I mean, who knows? But, I mean, one thing I do know, there's only 32 jobs of these in the NFL. Someone's going to want this job. As bad as we talked about how bad it is,
Of course.
someone's going to want to be there.
I believe the Cardinals is one of those teams that's never been to a Super Bowl, right?
They
Oh,
have
no.
been. Kurt Warner.
They've just never won it, right?
Correct.
That is correct.
Yeah, I mean,
My
What
mistake.
was it for James
We heard
Harrison going
whispers.
99 yards?
Yeah.
Game.
That was the first thing. As soon as I said that, I was like, no, Kurt Warner.
Cool. All right. Well, with all that being said, thank you everyone out there for watching and listening. Enjoy the games, and we'll talk to you guys on Sunday kickoff. See ya.